Hello there, my name is Lyapa Mbewe and welcome to yet another interactive session on My World podcast. So today we have an exciting guest, Nkhonde Fumbeshi. You might know her as the CEO of Money FM Radio. She is also co-founder of Fair World and also a well-seasoned lawyer. But before we get into that, remember, My World podcast, we discuss all things personal and business finances. We also look at economic trends and also host exemplary guests so that they can answer some of the questions that you might have right in the back of your mind. So today, let me introduce you to the one and only Nkhonde Fumbeshi. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the conversation. Yeah.
Just so you know, if you're listening or you're watching, I think Nkhonde is one of the most difficult people to get. So because she's here, we will count it as a privilege and we don't take it lightly. You have a busy schedule, you wear a lot of hats, so thank you so much for blessing us with your presence.
Thank you so much for having me. And I must say, this is the very first interview that I'm having. I normally do 10-down interviews, and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, but how can I say no to her? I'm not going to say no, so here I am.
Yeah.
Wow, let's do this. It's pretty hard to be on this side.
On this side,
Yeah.
yes. And you're an expert. We were chatting earlier saying you're actually an expert at this. So in as much as you have the nerves, I have the nerves to actually interview someone who's an expert at interviewing. And you do your job seamlessly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty much amazing as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we'll jump right into it. Can you just tell us a bit about your background and also what inspired you to pursue the many hats that you wear? You have the law side of the business, the law side of you, rather. You also have the business radio side, and you also co-founded rather a real estate company. So what inspired this? What's the background behind all that?
Well, that's a very good, interesting question. So really, my background is in law, media, and also property. So really, growing up, I wanted to be in the media because I was just intrigued by the influence that the media had, and not even forgetting the pretty ladies that I used to see on TV. So I was like, I'm going to be the person in front of the camera. But growing up, I found that I did not really like the limelight as I envisioned it in my head. And so with exposure and everything, I decided I'm going to be a lawyer. And so yeah, I went to school, didn't really go into law school because I decided to pursue mass communication first.
Okay.
And then thereafter, I got into the legal sector where I studied law at Ziali, at Unilas. And I went on to Ziali. I did my Ziali on first attempt. That one I really blew it out of proportion.
My God, you are iron.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm a person who wanted to be two things, to be in the media and to be in the legal fraternity. And I can say that God has been so good. Here I am. I have both. Yeah, so my love for property just grew up with the interaction and just realizing that there's huge potential, investment potential when it comes to property. And so my love for that grew. And because my partner is in that, so we kind of intersect. He's a lover of the media. I'm a lover of the media. He's a lover of property. I'm a lover of property. And then both just merge, and here I am
with two businesses.
Sectors. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I know you co-founding a real estate company and starting a radio station and practicing law are all diverse fields, as we might know. How do these areas intersect in your career? Is there any intersection point? And do you have like a unique perspective that they bring to each other? Do they intersect at any point?
Definitely. For me, really, my vision, my passion is to make sure that whatever I do has an impact on society. So when it comes to the legal fraternity, when it comes to media, when it comes to property, I look at all of them to have an impact. So my legal background really helps me in the property market to understand really the contracts, the transactions, and the media fraternity also helps me to just keep abreast with whatever is happening, ensuring that these three, or rather two, facets, we are compliant when it comes to the media. You know, media is highly regulated, so we need to ensure that we are compliant. And with a media background, that really helps me because I do understand the laws that are behind that. And yeah, it's easier to just run the business when you really understand what is required, especially from the legal sector. And from the, as I mentioned, from the property sector, it's really understanding the transactions. Some of these are really minor things, but you know, when you have the knowledge from that angle, you understand things better than the ones that really don't understand. So these two merge and just make my knowledge and appreciation of the law in both sectors just very well vested in them.
Nice. Okay. What challenges have you and your co-founding partner faced, especially as you went into the property business, the real estate market, and how did you overcome them? Sorry, maybe just before you answer this, which one was your first baby? Was it Fair World or was it Money FM?
So we've been running Fair World since 2011, and I'm not even trying to attempt how many years we've been in there. Yeah. So we've been running Fair World since 2011, and after some time in 2015, we decided to diversify. So this is really knowing that we had started so many businesses that didn't just take off. So I remember we had started this property platform. So this is where you trade properties online. And I think our business was too early because there wasn't so much access to the internet. And so we dropped that. We also started so many other companies that didn't work out. So Fairworld has really been the core. It started in 2011 and in 2015. And this month, actually, we are 5 years at Money FM. Yeah, so it's really an emotional month. We're happy that we have made strengths in the business. Yeah, so 5 years ago, we came to invest into Money FM to just diversify. Yeah, so Fairworld has been the first business. And talking about challenges, you've asked about challenges. You and I know that starting a business is not something easy, especially when you get into a market that is really with established businesses. So when we started Fairworld, there were big players on the market, companies that also have franchise from outside this country. So really, it wasn't an easy journey as it is for any other business. So the first thing that we did was we really needed to establish credibility and trust amongst the clients that we were targeting. So one of the things that we did was that we had to expand. We had to expand to come up with exceptional services. So what different thing are we offering? How are we going to do the business differently from the players that are already on the market? And that's really something that is not easy. And also relationships, establishing existing relationships, because there were people that were doing business with earlier, and so those business connections really helped. So the other thing also was that we had to showcase what we can do.
That's true,
what will set you apart? What would make me go to Lyapa as opposed to going to someone else? So those were the challenges that we faced. But all in all, we had challenges. We overcame them, and we realized that that is life. Life is full of challenges, and for you to just progress, you need to be challenged.
I think it spans over different sectors, whether it doesn't matter whichever industry you're in or whichever market, as long as you're starting out a business, you are bound to go through certain steps. Let me just put it as it is. You're bound to go through the fire, and that's where now you get tested if the product that you actually have will stand or withstand the fire, so that you can come out refined. So for me, it's it's always great when you hear, especially people like you who have been in the business sector for a very long time or have been entrepreneurs for a very long time, and then you come out and you say, listen, we started a business, it didn't go as planned, and we looked at it from a different front, because I feel that's where most entrepreneurs fail to break, really, to break through. You don't know when to stop, when to advance, when to change a strategy. There's so many things involved in that. I'm glad that we can learn. But can you help us with like a memorable success story or a project from any part of your businesses, something that stands out that you hold as a significant impact on your professional journey as either a lawyer or even a business owner?
Yeah, but you won't believe, for me, I think I hold every milestone dear to me. And when I'm telling you that the most memorable success that I ever had for me was Money FM, receiving the first call on Money FM.
Wow.
As you know, that for those who are in marketing, they'll tell you that if you don't have people calling you, then you're not doing anything. So the moment we received the first call, so this was after months of being in operation, and there was no one calling, and we're asking ourselves, are people listening? And yes, people were listening, because we could get feedback from out there. But just having that one person picking up the call, that was really a milestone. That was really something that I hold dear, because that just made a way for the other calls, for the other callers, yes. And the other thing was that the first case that I ever handled, I was really excited about it, because it brought in the media aspect, and I had to look at defamation of character. So that was also really, really a milestone, and I was very excited about that. And it went well.
Yes, and you can only go higher from there, really.
So there's been a lot of memorable experiences, success stories, and for me, all of them, I hold them dear. It's really difficult to just set them apart the way I have done. We'll spend the whole day for me just trying to pick them out, but
Nice. Okay. So for people that might not know, Money FM, which is the radio station that you are CEO for, focuses on business, finances, and economics. What motivated you to create a platform specifically dedicated to these topics, and what impact has it had on your audience in the past now 5 years?
So Lyapa, as we started this interview, I said for me, I hold dear to something that has an impact in society. And so when an opportunity came to just own a media, and by the way, growing up, I've looked forward to be a media owner, either radio, TV. That was something that I was looking forward to. So when an opportunity came, there wasn't really so much of funds to invest into it. Because you are a personal finance expert, I'm going to say this. The first operation money came from the savings, because it's just money that you're putting aside and thinking, what are we going to use this money for? So unlike saving money with a goal tied to it, there was money waiting for something. So when that opportunity came, we were very excited. And so the first thing that we looked at was that, look, we are getting into a market that is saturated. You and I were just from talking about getting into a market, and you find that there are other players on the market. What are we going to do? If we get into business and doing what everyone else is doing, it's not going to make sense. And so we looked at what was the gap in the market. And when people are saying do a market research, that is really, really important when it comes to business. You really need to see, where is the gap? What is your unique selling point? How are you going to set yourself apart when you get into business? So we looked at a radio station that will provide content that will be different. And so the content, because we are in business, the content that we looked at was that let's have something that will be dedicated to finance and business content that will just make an impact in the usual media space. So really our aim is just to empower people with knowledge. Financial literacy, as you know, someone who's well invested and knows how to handle their finances
Yes.
cannot fail to handle any other finances or anyone else's finances. So that was something that we thought should be done, and hence getting into Money FM and concentrating on just disseminating information that is personal finance, looking at the economy, looking at the performance of businesses, and overall just promoting the entrepreneurs out there.
Nice. I personally have been a benefactor or beneficiary of of Money FM and the information that you disseminate out there. So you're doing a fantastic job. The first time I heard of Money FM, I'm like, wow, that's a brilliant initiative. We see online platforms, we follow the Bloombergs of this world, but to have something indigenous to your country where everything, economic analysis, where you find everything related to finance on one platform, and you find experts there and people asking the right questions. It's brilliant. Like you said, you look for the gap in the market even before we realize that we actually needed it. Then you bring it to us and say, this is something that you need.
It was quite a daunting journey, because I remember when we had one of the guests come into Money FM, the first question they asked me was that, who's gonna listen to you? I was like, what?
Wow. Oh, wow.
Who's gonna listen to you?
Yeah.
Are you telling us that you'll be talking about business the whole day?
Yes.
And I told him, yes.
Yeah.
We have television channels that will just show soccer the whole day.
Yes.
We have music channels that show music the whole day, and they have its audience.
Yes.
So the most important thing to realize is that you need to know your market. Who are you targeting?
Yes.
You can't be everything to everyone.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, really you can't. And even just as we talk about like your entrepreneurship journey, I know it does involve taking risks, which you have alluded to. Can you discuss a particular risk you took in your career and how it paid off? I think I would like to hear that. Apart from depleting your savings, I'm going to come to you on a personal level on that. Apart from depleting your savings, do you have like one item that you can pick out from the many risks that you've taken that stands out as a particular risk you took to advance your journey?
Yeah, I know you will not believe this, but coupled with taking the personal savings, the biggest risk that I have taken was taking a leap of faith on Money FM. This is something where everyone else around you don't believe that this is something that you should do.
Yeah.
And you're there standing that this is something that I need to do, I have to do, regardless of what everyone else thinks. This is something that I feel will go somewhere. And I must say, so far, it's so far so good, because you find that where there are big players, Money FM is also there.
Yes.
And the reason is that we have set ourselves apart. We established our unique setting point. And for me, that is the very most important thing. If you break through the market and you're able to be recognized amongst the bigger players, then you're on the right track.
Okay. So looking at you as CEO, you're a business owner, you're a co-founder, building a successful company or a business like you have, and I won't call it successful because it really is. And it does come with you having to have this form of effective leadership. Yes, when it comes to your team and the teams that you manage, what leadership principles have guided you throughout your journey as you lead your teams?
So that's a very good question, Lyapa. And what we have done is that because of the various businesses that we have gone into, the key principles are the same for each business. So we do value transparency. So within your team, you have to be transparent. The team has to know what's happening. There's no money to get paid this month. The team will know the reason why we haven't gotten paid this month. And not just thinking that, okay, the money is that we got paid. Our bosses got the money. So the team needs to know this is a business that we have at the moment. And this is the income that the business is bringing into. That for us is very key. Teamwork, when you're a team, you work better. The moment that everyone else is scattered, there's nothing that can be achieved. So for me, teamwork, togetherness is really, really important. And also integrity. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who puts a brown envelope on the table.
That's true, yeah.
You have to stick to your values. You have to know that this is what you stand for and move with it. Like that, you will stand out.
Yeah.
I remember an instance where, sometimes you have clients pushing you because they need you to go on a certain route that they want. And when you stand true to what you stand for, when they want a proper deal, they'll still come back to you,
they'll come
because they know that you're the one who's going to give them a true either opinion, either if it's going to be a true value or anything else. They'll still come back to you because they know that you stand for the truth and you stand your ground. You're not moved by what anyone says. You're not moved by the money, but you're just moved by what you believe in.
And that should be difficult in such a fast-paced world. Yes, like
It
everyone is trying to be on top, and they'll do whatever and use whichever route to get to the top, and then you stand by your values. Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. I'll tell you that. And apart from just the value bit of the business or part of your leadership skills, I do know there's now the role of diversity and inclusion, and these are important topics in today's world. How do you approach diversity in your company and even just some of the initiatives that you put out as a business, and what benefits do you see in fostering diverse perspectives? Yeah, if we put it that way.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a very, very good question. In this world, you need to embrace everyone. You need to be inclusive. So we do not discriminate. For our platform, Money FM, for as long as you're an expert and you have information that you want to share, for as long as it's legally
because you have
acceptable.
Your values also.
Yes, because we have our values, and also because we are regulated. Yes, in us being inclusive, we need also to be within the law. So we ensure that we get everyone on board. We don't discriminate against race and gender and everything else. We are very, very inclusive because we realize that each one has something specific and something unique that they have to offer. And so hear what they bring to the table and see how together you can find solutions to problems that are in the company, to problems that are in society, and to problems that are in the world. You need each one's head, you need each one's brain to just be and sit on the table.
But as someone who's an expert in both business and law, what are some key legal considerations that entrepreneurs should keep in mind when starting or when even growing their businesses? I know you have touched on it. Maybe just one line on that.
Yeah, so really, as starting a business, we take things very, very casually. One of the things that I see becomes a problem is when you get into a business with a friend, because you do not want to legalize everything, and you're good friends. So you just want to go in it. You don't even care who takes what, who does what. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to register your business, so you know what share someone has, what stake the other person has, and everything else. So the business needs to have a structure. You need to establish your business with a structure that is viable, with a structure that is sustainable. And the other thing is you need to have contracts between yourselves, your employees. You need to have contracts so that whatever you do, you don't find yourself on the other side of the law. And also, when you start something like My Wealth Podcast, you need to ensure that you have intellectual property well protected. Protect your innovations, protect your names. And also you need to be compliant. Different sectors have got different laws that regulate them. So in whichever sector that you get into, ensure that you're compliant. You don't want to find yourself 3-5 days or 2-3 years into the business, you're being closed down because you're not compliant, or you're being fined a huge sum of money that you cannot afford as a business. So you need to ensure that you're abreast with what's happening in your industry and that you're compliant. And also our friends, the taxmen.
Yes.
You also need to ensure that you attend to your tax obligations and all the other statutory obligations.
Pay Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
You need to ensure that you pay Caesar what belongs to Caesar. But overall, obviously, you need to consult the experts. If it comes to anything that concerns legal, make sure you consult an expert in the legal sector. Anything that comes to tax, consult a tax expert. Finances, consult Lyapa here. She'll advise you. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you for that. I'm sure a lot of us are learning so much, especially because you have been doing this for a while. Can you share any exciting projects? Do you have any exciting projects or initiatives that you're currently working on that is in the pipeline?
Yeah, currently I'm excited on the property sector because we're living in a world where there's so much that we have to do, so much responsibility that we have to do as individuals, especially when it comes to climate change. As an individual, have a role to play to ensure that we reduce the carbon emission. And so from the property sector, we are looking at innovations, new ways of how we just contribute to the way we tackle climate change. And one of the innovations that we are looking into is climate tech initiatives. And also we're also planning to extend our media presence. We have social media that is really not an enemy, but something that it's an ally that we are also introducing and embracing. We have embraced and introduced, and so we're looking at expanding into those platforms so that we can reach a broader audience when it comes to the media.
Okay, that should be exciting. And I think I have seen you on the climate side. You're a voice when it comes to climate change. If I'm not mistaken, you actually do take it up as something that on an individual basis, is it not?
That is very correct. Actually, I am one of the founding members for the Women Leaders for Climate Action. So this is a group that was put together from women from different backgrounds, influential women coming together to ensure that we raise funds for climate finance. So projects that are climate finance related, we want to bring in the money into Zambia so that we can invest in those projects and just ensure that we reduce the carbon emission. And on my legal side, I am part of the climate task force. So we are just looking at ensuring that we educate the lawyers when it comes to climate change, climate litigation, and everything else that surrounds climate on the legal side. And so on the property side, we're doing that. On the radio side also, we're making sure that we keep the people informed when it comes to climate. So it's been an exciting journey. I've been excited about it, and it's a field that is very ripe. Looking forward to more opportunities in the climate
listen, everything that you were saying, I'm just there. I'm like, I need to sit down with Nkhonde so we can raise a green bond somewhere.
Exactly.
We need to raise a green bond for one of the projects that you have, because that's what is trending on the capital side of the business, or capital market side. So it's everyone is preaching the same language. The working group is preaching the same language. Can we ensure that we raise some green bonds so that we can finance projects that are going green? So I think we need to have a conversation around that.
Thank you so much. That really sounds exciting.
Yes. So finally, what do you see as the future of business media, and how do you plan, more importantly, to stay at the forefront of this very evolving field? Like you mentioned, you've got social media that is taking, that's taken the forefront. You've got podcasts that have come on board. There's so many things that are popping up left, right, and center. And then you have this traditional platform, but then at the same time you are trying to make it as different and as relevant as it can be. So what is the future for business media? I'm excited for that.
One of my mentors says, think local, act global. So even when we were coming up with Money FM, one of the things that we did was we needed to come up with an online app. That is something that we didn't see any radio station have. So we just from the onset 5 years ago, we were already abreast. Online app, we flooded social media platforms, and so then what we are very excited about is bringing in new content, and also just expand so that we make a mark on the international market, not just being local, but we're thinking global, reaching out to the international market, seeing what others are doing and what impact we can do in other countries, other continents. And we also have a partnership that is coming up with a certain internet provider. So what they are actually looking at is getting Money FM and channeling it to a certain community so that they have that information on personal finance. And so we're looking at creating content that will be best suited for that community. And so what they will do is get the content, and that will be the only content that will be going on them. So this is us putting the content on our website, like we do. Most of our programs are on the website. So that is something that I'm also excited about. Reaching communities, individual communities, and seeing what impact Money FM can have on the communities.
It's a huge win for both financial literacy and financial inclusion. That's powerful. Yeah. See, that's why we're excited to have you, and that's why it's such a privilege to have you, because you constantly probably have all these projects that are running in the background, and we are beneficiaries of your brilliant mind. And I hope it doesn't stop running, because we want more of those projects, more of those initiatives coming our way. And I'm just glad that you are looking at crossing borders, reaching communities that need that information. Okay, so any final words for entrepreneurs or anyone out there? Words of wisdom, let's put it that way.
Okay, thank you so much. This has been a very nice interview. I feel calm, actually.
Yes.
I feel calm from the moment that we started. I was like, am I gonna go through it? So I was like, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So advice to aspiring entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is a great journey. It's an amazing journey, but it requires that you are resilient. It's not easy, but you can make it. I know sometimes things may look tough. Things may look like there's no way out, there's no way through, but entrepreneurship is a very, very fulfilling journey. And for you to ensure that you have that fulfilling journey, you need to explore your passion, follow your passion, not just do what everyone else is doing, because you are unique. You have those unique skills in you that will set you apart. It doesn't matter whether you are in the business where everyone else is, for as long as you harness your skills and your uniqueness, you will definitely make it. The other point is that embrace your challenges. They are, like I said, you go through so many challenges as an entrepreneur, but look at it as an opportunity to grow. The more challenges you go through, the more growth you experience, because you know how to handle challenges. And the most important thing, Lyapa, that I hold dear to my heart is that learn to connect. Ensure that you connect with people around you, people in your business, and just create networks that you'll be able to pick up the phone and make a call and be heard. So that is really, really important to me. I like making meaningful connections. I want to connect before I ask for something, and I'll connect with you. I'll never even ask you for something, because I know that even when I do not ask, you feel moved to help. So as entrepreneurs, do not rush to just say, oh, can I have this business and all that. Just ensure that you connect, and everything else will fall in place.
That's powerful. I feel relationships and having, like you said, meaningful relationships and networking have gotten in more rooms than I can ever count. You'll find that half the time you don't have to ask or plead for something to get done, or even have to take that longer route. Why? Because there's really someone who genuinely is in your corner to say, you know what, do you need to get something done? Let me help you get this done. And it's coming from a point of you have created that relationship. So it's it's something that I can't emphasize more, like you've put it in very proper words. So thank you, Nkhonde. I value your time. I value your connection and your relationship. I think you're a good big sister, and and I appreciate that. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Lyapa. It's really been a pleasure.
Okay. So that was Nkhonde Fumbeshi, CEO of Money FM, co-founder of Fair World, and she is also a lawyer. Remember to find us on all podcast platforms, and you have been watching us on YouTube. Until next time, this is Lyapa Mbewe. See you then.